Well, gang, the absolute madman motherfucking did it. After eons of placation and piss and winery, after unctuous Obama and cloying-ass Kerry shipping shitloads of cash to Iran, getting nothing in return but a handful of hostages and an acid rain check, Trump took a long, withering glare at the Iran deal the country in question was revealed to have actively fucking violated just last week, and shredded that shit up. And with grim predictability, you know exactly what that means. The media is positively alight with practiced righteous indignation.
The United States no longer makes empty threats. When I make promises, I keep them.
How does this make America safer? It is incredibly difficult to try to fathom that sitting from here.
Bring back that Lyra Brown.
I have never ever seen a slanging match, a verbal rhetoric going between the leader of the United States and the leader of a hermit kingdom with nuclear weapons and ICBMs, which he's already threatened the world with. So right now, I'm afraid.
Now is the time.
Clearly, credit goes to President Trump. He's been determined to come to grips with this from day one.
Wow, if only you'd marshaled 1/15th the fucking outrage when Mulder and ass McCain penned an impromptu pop tune about transmogrifying the Iranian landmass into a thermonuclear hellscape.
That old Beach Boys song, Bomb Iran. Bomb, 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 bomb. Anyway.
But nope, it's only now, with a president who appears to have cowed North Korea into submission, that you're finally pinching out the post-apocalypse predictions. Because we all know doing the exact same shit you've always done inevitably yields radically different results. Just ask the asshead gibbering in the corner of the padded room, pooping his pantaloons and raving about the Russians. But enough about Kathy Griffin. Look, the Iran deal did precious fuck all. Unless, of course, you happen to be the plane pilot who shipped in $400 million fucking dollars under cover of darkness in exchange for hostages in 2016. Oh, I'm sorry! Snopes informed us all that was, in fact, in exchange for 40-year-old fucking fighter jets. Not hostages! Complete coincidence. After all, it's not like they held said hostages on the tarmac until the plane landed or anything.
Yeah, we were at the airport for a night, and, they told us...
You slept there at the airport?
Minutes. Yes, for a night. And, they told us you're going to be there for 20 minutes, but it took like hours and hours. We slept at the airport, and when I asked them why you don't let us go, because the plane was there, pilot was there, everyone was ready that we leave the country, they said we are waiting for another plane, and until that plane doesn't come, we never let you go.
Ah, Snopes, the DNC's answer to the Iraqi information minister. And speaking of hostages...
A warm welcome home from President Trump himself as 3 Americans return from captivity in North Korea.
My proudest achievement will be, this is a part of it, but will be when we denuclearize that entire peninsula.
It's viewed as a goodwill gesture from Kim Jong-un ahead of a planned summit between him and the U.S. president.
Huh, and here I thought you had to give up 5 hostages in order to receive 1 in return. How do you know these apocalyptic predictions are utter bullshit? Look, even if you're not acquainted with Iranian politics, how's about the immutable fact that many of these very same fuckknobs were forecasting portents of doom in their cup of noodles over North Korea less than a month ago? How'd that prophecy turn out for you there, Granny Rags? I haven't seen this many narratives collapse in unison since the end of Batman v Superman. You predicted the Commander-in-Cheeto would fire us all into Fallout 4. Instead, for the first time in 50 years, we're within arm's reach of peace on the peninsula. But do the reflexive fuckbags already crying a rock war in this motherfucker understand this? Iran is anything but the archetypal Middle Eastern country. In many ways, they're already massively motherfucking westernized. Do a quick YouTube search in Farsi or fucking otherwise for Pahlavi's Iran nostalgia and prepare to pound down page after page of Iranian citizens longing for the glory days of their puppet, the Shah. Some of the most popular memes in Iran consist of before and after fucking Polaroids of sprawling resorts, bustling beaches, and town squares and the like from before the Iranians were made a vassal state of Palestine. I'm sorry, revolted. But no aspect of Iranian society is more atypical than its governmental structure. Basically, bitch, replace the three branches of US government with the military, the Ayatollah, and an utterly ineffectual president, have them all freebase bath salts, and you're arcing toward the beginnings of an understanding why any deal brokered with a single pillar of the Iranian government has about as much value as an NDA signed by Stormy Daniels. This is why everyone from the prince in exile of Iran to Persian celebrities abiding in the US have expressed support for Trump torpedoing the laughable Iran deal. It was never preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear ordnance. If anything, it was outright facilitating it. But more to the point, if you sign an agreement with, say, the president of Iran, himself a toothless thrall to the mullahs, often in direct conflict with his own military, and both of the above work to opposite ends, as recent intelligence suggests they resoundingly fucking have, motherfucker, you don't have an agreement. You have a decorative wall hanging. Iran is a regime that fails to keep the fucking lights on in large sections of even Tehran at times, yet miraculously find themselves awash with mysterious cash when it's time to buy billions of dollars worth of shiny new police motorcycles to put down an Arab Spring riot. And to the suddenly, miraculously anti-war left, who mere months ago were calling for full-scale land war in Russia, whatever whirling typhoons a tism come tumbling from your lying fucking face holes hereafter, let's dispense with the pretense that you harbor even the faintest of fucks to give about the well-being of the Iranian people. Because every time you part your prevaricating maws and deign to lecture the little people about the merits of mercy, those of us that actually give a shit about the Iranian people see through you like a Reynolds Wrap tankini. Iran ain't some ass backward Arab shithole shitbird. This is a rich and ancient culture, one that boasts among the oldest and finest food, fashion, and fucking music, and they for the most part resent the encroachment of Arabic interests on their infinitely more venerated civilization, which is why what comes next is kind of a tough call. I mean, on the surface, sanctions sort of make sense, but sadly, they do little more than penalize a populace that is effectively fucking enslaved to begin with. I mean, sadly with Iran, you're left with two choices, neither of which are ideal. I mean, pursue sanctions knowing it punishes the people who actively despise the despots they suffer beneath to begin with, or invade with nary a fucking apology. Pummel them into submission. Accept your role as invader. None of this flak jacket, armored car, shock and awe horseshit. You go in like motherfucking MacArthur or you sit your ass at home. I'm not advocating either, for the record. It's a heel program as far as I'm concerned. So before any of my fellow isolationists chime in, I feel ya. Really, I do. The last thing I want is a wide-scale conflict in the Middle East. I'm convinced war is God's way of teaching John McCain geography, folks. But this is a rare case where leaving them alone does precious little, because no matter how much wood pulp and India ink we sacrifice to the diplomatic enterprise of bringing the Persian people into the 21st century, the other two wings of their government will actively fucking subvert it. And all the while, the militaristic wing of their government will be actively commandeering their cash so they can funnel it to fucking nukes. As in all things, there are no hard and fast answers here, and often you have to resign yourself to being cast as the most cavernous, gaping butthole in the block. But shrieking that this will end in World War III, once again, no less. Look, if you run a YouTube channel and you predicted Trump would hurtle us all into nuclear hellfire in Korea, yet even despite this fact failing to materialize, and the opposite actively occurring, you nevertheless insist on pivoting toward asserting his Iranian policy, will do the very same. I want you to stop, pause the video, brandish your fucking flip cam, and record a video stating the following. I was wrong. The leering late-night twinks I call my mediocre opinions from were fucking wrong. Changing the subject doesn't change reality. No amount of grammar critiques on Twitter will change how earth-rendingly wrong I was. I'm oblivious. I'm a cunt. I apologize. You do that, Daddy, we're copacetic. Otherwise, resume your little pillow fort powwow, handily insulated from even the beginnings of butt-fucking reality, while the adults continue to be jacked into real fucking life. Oh, and Kyle, baby, not to harp on your hapless ass, Christ knows your cratering narrative must be a bear this last week, but actually, fuck it, it's fun. Bite me, bitch.
Yeah, I know you've been a pretty staunch critic of Hillary. Do you think she'd actually be doing a better job right now?
Yes, I do. I think she would be, for a few reasons. Number one, she wouldn't be getting us out of the Iran deal. So the Iran deal, yes, it makes it much more likely that Iran is not going to get a nuclear weapon. And if you get rid of that, then you're escalating tensions with Iran. I don't think Hillary would have been nearly as bad.
I ask you people, is there a solitary syllable of his performance that hasn't aged like Kirstie Alley's neck? I mean, even if you think Netanyahu's full of 7 shades of shit, and really it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume so, Iran, or rather the Iranian military's reaction to these allegations, That is to say, bombing the bejesus out of Israel is almost the only confirmation you fucking need. The deal was a damn joke. They were clearly violating it. We're well the fuck rid of it for one reason and one reason alone. No piece you pen with Persian Hydra head number 1 has a chance in high holy hell of being honored by the other fucking 2. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Iraq.
The Iraq looks like something we shouldn't be involved with. It looks like you put it together with no directions.
I'm confident the Iraq will work without any directions or plans of any sort. This is the Iraq as we intended. Mission accomplished.
Look, the Iraq's starting to smoke!
That's just the beginnings of synergy. I will help the process along by throwing the rest of our money at the Iraq. I want you all to stop focusing on the Iraq and start focusing on our newest product.